Find somewhere comfortable. You don't have to sit up straight or arrange yourself in any particular way. However you've landed. On your side, on your back, one arm tucked under the pillow. That's exactly right. You don't need to concentrate on what's coming. You don't need to hold on to any of it. The words will arrive on their own, and if some of them drift past you unheard, that's completely fine. Tonight is not about effort. It never was. If today was hard, you can set it down now. Not forever. Just here. Just for a little while. The day has already happened. It's finished. And whatever you brought with you into this room, whatever is sitting quietly in the back of your chest, the thing you've been carrying maybe for hours, maybe for much longer than that, you don't have to put it down tonight if you're not ready. We're just going to sit with it together for a while and see what it has to say. Tonight we're going to talk about forgiveness. And if that word landed a little strangely just now, if something in you tensed slightly or looked away, that's worth noticing. That reaction makes complete sense. Forgiveness is one of those words that can feel almost presumptuous when someone else says it to you. Like they don't quite understand what happened. Like they're asking you to do something that costs more than they know. So before anything else, let me say this. Whatever happened, I'm not here to tell you it was fine. It wasn't fine, and you don't have to pretend otherwise tonight. What we're going to do is something much quieter than that. We're going to look together at what forgiveness actually is. Not the version that gets stitched onto motivational posters, not the version that sounds simple from the outside. The real thing, the complicated, deeply human thing. And somewhere along the way, we might find that it has less to do with the person who hurt you and much more to do with you. With your body, with your sleep, with the quiet life you deserve to be living. So rest now, let your weight settle. We'll go slowly. There is something that happens in the body when you think about a person who has hurt you. You might already know this feeling without having a name for it. You're lying in the dark, almost at the edge of sleep, and then something surfaces, a memory. A conversation replayed, a thing that was said or done or left undone, and almost immediately, before you've even fully formed the thought, your body responds. Your jaw tightens, almost imperceptibly. Your shoulders shift. Something in your chest pulls inward, like a hand closing around something soft. It doesn't matter how long ago it happened. That's one of the strange and quietly unfair things about this. The body doesn't file old hurts away the way we'd like it to. It keeps them close. Researchers have actually measured this. They brought people into laboratories and asked them to think about someone who had wronged them, to really think about it, to let the memory become vivid. And then they've watched what happens. Blood pressure rises. Heart rate climbs. The skin begins to produce the faint, almost invisible perspiration that the body makes when it believes it is in danger. All of this from a memory. All of this from something that is not happening right now, in this room, but that the nervous system treats as though it is. This is not weakness. This is not you being oversensitive or unable to move on. This is your body doing exactly what bodies are designed to do. It is protecting you. It learned at some point that this person or this situation meant harm, and it has been on quiet alert ever since. Every time you revisit the memory, it runs the same response. It is being faithful to you in its way. The problem is that it is also exhausting you. And tonight, lying here in the dark, you deserve to understand why. Let's stay with that for a moment. The body on alert. When the mind perceives a threat, real or remembered, it sets off a cascade of responses that are ancient and deeply wired. The part of the brain responsible for detecting danger, a small almond-shaped structure that sits deep inside the skull, fires a signal, and the body responds. Stress hormones flood the bloodstream. The muscles prepare. The breath becomes slightly more shallow, slightly more rapid, readying the lungs for effort. This response evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to help our ancestors survive genuine, immediate physical danger, a predator, an enemy, something that needed to be fought or fled, and it is extraordinarily good at what it does. For a short burst, in a genuine emergency, it may well save your life. But here is the quiet tragedy of carrying a grudge. The body cannot easily tell the difference between a threat that is happening right now and a threat that lives only in memory. When you ruminate, when you turn the same hurt over and over in your mind, replaying what was said, imagining what you should have said, feeling again the particular weight of that betrayal, your nervous system responds as though the danger is present, as though it is happening again, right now, in this moment. And so the stress hormones come again and again. Every time the thought surfaces, every time someone mentions that person's name, every time a small, unrelated thing, a song, a smell, a particular quality of afternoon light brings it back. The body does not get a rest. There's a phrase that researchers in this field sometimes use. They say that when we hold on to resentment, we are practicing it at a neural level. Every time the memory is revisited, the pathways in the brain that carry that emotional charge become slightly more worn, slightly more traveled, slightly easier to fall into. It stays open, and in some ways grows more sensitive because the brain has been rehearsing it so faithfully. This is not a flaw in you. It is simply how the mind works. It is trying to protect you by keeping the lesson close, but the lesson has been learned. You know now what that person or that situation cost you. You don't need to keep paying the tuition. The physical cost of all this is real, and it has been carefully documented. Chronic low-level stress of the kind that resentment produces places a persistent burden on the heart. It keeps blood pressure slightly elevated over time. It interferes with the immune system's ability to do its quiet maintenance work. And, perhaps most relevant to you, lying here tonight, it disrupts sleep. The nervous system that is still running a low hum of threat response cannot easily make the shift into the deep, slow, restorative rest that the body most needs. The stress hormones that were designed for short emergencies become a kind of background noise that makes it very hard to fully switch off. A survey conducted some years ago by a non-profit organization dedicated to studying forgiveness found that more than 60% of adults felt they needed more forgiveness in their personal lives. 60%. That is not a small number. That is most of the people you pass on the street, most of the people lying awake in houses near yours tonight, carrying something they haven't yet found a way to set down. You are not alone in this, not even close. The cost of resentment is not a punishment for being unforgiving. It is simply what happens when a system designed for short bursts of danger is asked to run continuously. It wears things down. It keeps the body in a state of gentle, persistent vigilance that leaves very little room for peace. And peace, it turns out, is not a luxury. It is something the body genuinely needs. Before we can talk about what forgiveness is, it seems important, maybe even necessary, to clear away what it isn't. Because there is a version of forgiveness that gets handed to people like a small, smooth stone, as though it is simple, as though the receiving of it should be easy. And that version does real harm. It makes people feel that if they haven't forgiven, they are somehow failing, that they are choosing to suffer, that they are holding on out of stubbornness or pride. That is not what this is. Forgiveness is not the same thing as saying that what happened was acceptable. It isn't. Whatever was done to you, whatever was said, whatever was taken, whatever was broken, your sense that it was wrong is valid. Forgiveness does not reach back in time and change the nature of the act. It does not transform a wound into something that never happened. Forgiveness is also not the same as forgetting. The memory does not have to be erased. In fact, the memory may remain quite clear, and that's not a sign that forgiveness has failed. The mind keeps records for good reasons. You are allowed to remember. You are allowed to know what happened. Forgiveness does not require reconciliation. This is perhaps the most important thing to say clearly. Choosing to forgive someone does not mean choosing to let them back into your life. It does not mean lowering the boundaries that keep you safe. It does not mean that the relationship must be restored, or that the person deserves your trust again, or that you owe them anything at all. Those are separate decisions, and they belong entirely to you. Forgiveness is not weakness. This is a deep misconception and an old one. In many ancient Indian traditions, forgiveness was understood as a quality belonging to the brave, not the passive, not the defeated, but specifically the courageous. The reasoning was that it takes far more strength to choose peace than to remain in the easier, more automatic posture of anger. Anger, in many ways, is the path of least resistance. It is familiar. It has its own kind of energy. Choosing to move through it and beyond it requires something harder and quieter. And finally, this is the one that perhaps matters most tonight. Forgiveness is not something you do for the person who hurt you. The primary person who benefits when you forgive is you. This might sound strange. It might even feel a little unfair in the way that many true things do. But the research on this is consistent and clear. When someone holds onto a grudge, the person most affected by that choice is the one holding it. The other person, the one who caused the harm, may not think about it at all, may have moved on entirely, may be sleeping soundly right now, while you lie here in the dark, carrying something that is costing you more than they will ever know. Forgiveness is, at its core, an act of self-care. It is the decision to stop paying, with your body and your sleep and your peace, for something someone else did. That reframing can take a little time to settle. It doesn't have to make complete sense right now. Just let it rest nearby, quietly, while we continue. So if forgiveness is not condoning, not forgetting, not reconciling, not weakness, what is it? Psychologists who have spent decades studying this describe forgiveness as a deliberate shift, a movement from one internal state toward another. It is the decision, and it is a decision, not a feeling that arrives fully formed one morning, to release the claim that resentment has on you, to stop allowing the person who hurt you to occupy rent-free space in your nervous system. One way to think about it, resentment is a kind of ongoing relationship with the person who hurt you. Every time you revisit the memory, every time the anger rises fresh, you are in contact with them again. They are present in your body, in your chemistry, in your sleep. Forgiveness is the gradual process of ending that involuntary relationship, not erasing it, not pretending it never existed, but slowly withdrawing the energy that has been feeding it. There is a Hawaiian practice that has been used for generations as a way of restoring harmony, both within oneself and between people. It centers on 4 simple phrases, spoken inwardly: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Way of restoring harmony. What is striking about this practice is that it is not addressed to the other person in any literal sense. It is addressed to the self, to the relationship, to the tangled thing that exists between two people who have hurt each other or been hurt. It is an acknowledgement of the weight that is being carried and a gentle request to be released from it. The simplicity of it can feel almost disarming. But simplicity, in matters this deep, is often exactly right. Researchers who study forgiveness in clinical settings often describe it as a process with several stages, and it is worth knowing that those stages are not linear. You do not move cleanly from one to the next. You may find yourself circling back. You may forgive, and then, some weeks later, find the anger returning, and that is not a sign that you failed. It is simply how emotional processing works. The mind returns to difficult things the way the tongue returns to a sore tooth. It is checking. It is making sure. The first stage, in most therapeutic models, involves simply acknowledging what happened and how it felt. This sounds obvious, but it is often skipped. Many of us learn early to minimize our own pain, to say it wasn't that bad, to protect ourselves from the full weight of what we experience by keeping it at a slight distance. But the hurt needs to be seen before it can begin to move. It needs to be named. The second stage is something like a decision, not a feeling, but a commitment. The choice to move toward forgiveness, even before the feeling of forgiveness has arrived. This is one of the more counterintuitive aspects of how it works. You do not wait until you feel forgiving. You choose the direction, and the feeling, with time and practice, tends to follow. The third stage involves something that can feel genuinely difficult, trying to understand the person who hurt you, not excusing them, not agreeing with what they did, but attempting, from a safe distance, to see them as a complete human being, flawed, shaped by their own history, possibly acting out of pain or limitation that had nothing to do with you. This is not easy. It is not always possible straight away. But even the smallest movement toward it can begin to loosen something. And the fourth stage, the one that often surprises people, is finding something of value in the experience, not gratitude for being hurt, but perhaps a recognition of what it taught you, of how it changed you, of the resilience that grew in the space the wound left behind. None of this needs to happen tonight. You don't have to complete any of it, or even begin it. This is just the shape of the territory, offered quietly so you know it exists. Earlier, we talked about what resentment does to the body. It seems only right to talk about what happens when the grip begins to ease. The same researchers who measured the physical stress response during grudge recall also measured what happened when participants were guided through forgiveness. The shift was measurable and it was significant. Blood pressure dropped. Heart rate returned to something quieter and more settled. The faint physiological signs of alarm, the kind the body produces when it believes a threat is nearby, faded back toward baseline, toward the calm, ordinary state of a body at rest. This is not metaphor. This is physiology. The body that has been running a low hum of threat response begins, with forgiveness, to stand down. When scientists have looked at what happens inside the brain during this process, using imaging technology that can show which regions are active as a person works through forgiving someone, they find something rather beautiful. The parts of the brain associated with understanding other people's experiences, with placing yourself in someone else's position, with feeling something like compassion, these regions become more active. The parts associated with raw alarm and threats begin to quiet. The brain, it appears, moves from reaction to reflection, from the hot, urgent state of feeling wronged towards something more considered, more spacious. And in that spaciousness, the nervous system finds room to rest. There is also something fascinating in recent findings about the relationship between forgiveness and the body's stress regulation system, the internal machinery that governs how we respond to pressure and then recover from it. Not a system that never activates, but one that activates when needed and then returns to calm more readily. And interestingly, some studies have found that people who experience strong emotional and physiological reactions during conflict were, in certain circumstances, more likely to move toward forgiveness in its aftermath, as though the body's own intensity became a catalyst, as though feeling the cost of resentment so fully made the path toward release feel not just possible, but necessary. There is something quietly hopeful in that. The very fact that you feel things deeply, that you have carried this, that it has cost you, may itself be part of what makes forgiveness possible for you. And then there is sleep. The connection between forgiveness and sleep is not incidental. It runs through the body's chemistry in a way that is worth understanding, even loosely, even half-heard. The stress hormones that resentment keeps elevated are some of the same hormones that, when present in excess, make it hard to fall asleep and harder still to stay in the deep, slow rest that the body most needs for repair. The brain during deep sleep does something remarkable. It restores the very mechanisms that help us regulate our emotions the next day. It's as though sleep and emotional health are in a conversation with each other, each one supporting the other, each one making the other more possible. When resentment disrupts sleep, it also disrupts the brain's ability to process emotion, which makes the resentment harder to move through, which disrupts sleep further. It is a loop, and it is exhausting, and it is one that so many people are caught in without quite knowing why. Forgiveness, by gradually calming the body's alarm state, begins to loosen that loop, not all at once, not in a single night, but the direction of movement is clear and it is toward rest. A study from a medical school in Pennsylvania found that stress activates specific neurons in the part of the brain that regulates sleep, causing small, brief interruptions in sleep cycles that accumulate over time into something that feels like a chronic inability to fully rest. And forgiveness, by addressing that underlying stress at its source, may be one of the quietest and most lasting gifts you can give your sleeping self. There is also research from a study published in a major journal on human behavior showing that deep, slow sleep actively restores the brain's capacity for emotional regulation, that a well-rested brain is literally better at managing difficult feelings the next day. So the relationship runs in both directions. Forgiveness supports sleep, and sleep, in turn, supports the emotional work of forgiveness. They are not separate things. They are part of the same slow healing. One more thing worth holding gently before we move into the meditation that follows. Forgiveness is not something that happens once. The research is clear on this, and it matters. Brain imaging studies have shown that the process involves many different regions working together over time, building new pathways, new ways of thinking about the hurt that don't automatically trigger the full alarm response. It takes returning again and again to the intention, not because you keep failing, but because this is simply how the mind builds new habits of thought. Every time you choose, even partially, even imperfectly, to move toward forgiveness rather than deeper into resentment, you are doing something real at a neurological level. You are laying down a slightly more worn path toward peace. You are making it fractionally easier, next time, to find your way there. You don't have to be all the way there tonight. You don't have to feel forgiving. You only have to be willing to rest in the direction of it. And that is exactly where we're headed now. In just a moment, we're going to move into a guided meditation, something slow and gentle, designed to help you begin to set down whatever you've been carrying, not by forcing anything, not by demanding that you feel differently than you do, but by creating a little space around the weight of it and letting the body remember what it feels like to soften. You don't have to do anything except let yourself be guided. The words will come. You can follow them as closely or as loosely as you like. And if you drift off somewhere in the middle of it, that is not a failure. That is the whole point. Rest here for just a moment. The meditation begins now. Welcome back. You have already done something gentle tonight, something that took a quiet kind of courage. You allowed yourself to sit with the idea of forgiveness, not to solve it, not to finish it, just to let it be near you, the way a soft light can be near you in a dark room without asking anything of you at all. And now this part is even simpler. This part is just rest. Whatever you heard, whatever stirred in you, whatever rose to the surface, and whatever stayed hidden, all of it is allowed to be here. All of it can come with you into this quiet. You do not need to sort through any of it tonight. You do not need to arrive at any conclusion. The mind does not need to finish what it started. It can simply set it down. So let yourself settle now. Let your body find its way into the surface beneath you. If you need to shift, shift. If you need to adjust a pillow, adjust it. Give yourself full permission to be as comfortable as you possibly can be right now. There is nowhere to be after this. There is nothing to do when this is over. This is the end of the day, and the end of the day is allowed to be gentle. Let your eyes close if they are not already, not pressed shut, just softly closed, like a flower that closes at dusk, not because something is wrong, but simply because the light has changed and rest is what comes next. Feel the weight of your body. Feel where you make contact with the bed, the pillow, whatever holds you. Let yourself be held by it. You do not have to hold yourself up right now. You have been holding yourself up all day, and you are allowed to stop. Let the day begin to fall away from you now, not pushed away, not forced, just allowed to drift. The things that happened today, the conversations, the moments that felt heavy, the moments that felt light, the things left undone, the things you are still turning over. The things you are still turning over. Let them move to the edges of your awareness. They will still be there if you need them, but right now they can wait at the edge. And right now there is only this. The quiet, the warmth, the surface beneath you. In your breath. Let your attention find your breath now. You do not need to change it yet. Just notice it. Notice the simple, faithful rhythm of it. In and out. In and out. Your body has been breathing all day without you thinking about it at all. It knows how to do this. It has always known. Just notice the breath moving in through your nose. Feel it, cool and gentle as it enters. Feel your chest or your belly rise just slightly to receive it, and then feel it release. Warm and slow, moving out of you like something that no longer needs to be held. There is something very much like forgiveness in a breath. You take something in, you hold it for a moment, and then you let it go. You do not hold the breath forever. You were never meant to. And so now, very gently, let the breath begin to slow, not forced, just invited. Let each inhale be a little longer, a little deeper, a little more spacious. And let each exhale be even longer than that, like setting something down that you have been carrying. Let us breathe together now, slowly and easily. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it softly, 2, 3, 4. And let it go, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Again, just like that. Hold it gently, 2, 3, 4. And release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are doing so well. Let that be enough. Right now, breathing slowly in this quiet room, that is enough. Once more. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And let it all go, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let the breath return to its own natural rhythm. You have given it a little more space, and it will carry that spaciousness forward on its own. You do not need to count anymore. You can simply breathe. Every exhale is a small release. Every exhale is the body saying, I do not need to hold this anymore. And the body is wise. The body knows that holding is tiring. The body knows that letting go is how we rest. And now, very gently, we're going to move through the body. We are going to visit each part of you and invite it to soften. There is no effort in this. There is nothing to achieve. Just a kind of permission, a quiet word to each part of yourself that says, you can rest now. You have done enough today. You can let go. Begin with the very top of your head, your scalp. You may not have thought about your scalp today, but it has been carrying something too, a quiet tension perhaps that lives there without announcing itself. Just bring your attention there now, to the crown of your head. Let the muscles of your scalp release. Imagine them spreading outward, loosening like a fist very slowly opening. The skin of your scalp growing soft and still. Now your forehead. This is a place where so much is held. The lines of thinking, the small crease of worry, the effort of a long day. Let your forehead become completely smooth. Let it be wide and still and quiet. Nothing to furrow, nothing to brace against. And your eyebrows. Let them settle, let them fall, just slightly, into ease. No expression needed now, no face to hold for anyone. Your eyes, behind their closed lids, let them go still. Let the tiny muscles around your eyes release. Your eyelids are heavy, and that heaviness is welcome. That heaviness is rest beginning. Your cheeks, your temples, the soft skin at the sides of your face, let it all soften. Let your face become as peaceful as the face of someone already deeply asleep. And your jaw. This is another place where so much is quietly held, where we clench without knowing we are clenching, where we hold back words or hold in feelings that had nowhere to go today. There may be something in that release, some small thing that was waiting to be let go. You do not need to name it. Just let the jaw soften and let whatever it was held there dissolve quietly into the dark. Your lips soft, your tongue resting gently at the floor of your mouth, your throat open and easy. Now your neck, the back of your neck, where so much tension gathers. Let it release now. Let the muscles along either side of your spine soften. Let your neck feel long and loose and completely supported by whatever holds it. And your shoulders. Take a moment here. Your shoulders may have been carrying something today that had nothing to do with anything physical. They carry the weight of what we worry about, the weight of what we have not yet said, the weight of what we are not sure we can forgive or not sure we deserve to be forgiven for. Let your shoulders drop. Let them fall away from your ears. Let them sink into the bed, into the pillow, into whatever is beneath them. Let them be heavy, beautifully, restfully heavy. Feel that release moving down through your upper arms now, the biceps, the triceps, all of it softening, your arms growing heavy and warm. You do not need your arms right now. They can rest completely. Down through your elbows, through your forearms. Let the muscles there unwind. Let them go loose. The tendons, the bones, all of it resting. And your hands have done so much today. They have reached and held and typed and carried. Let them open now, or let them rest however they have fallen, and let them go completely soft. Your fingers uncurled, your palms open, your hands releasing everything they held today. There is something about open hands. Open hands cannot grip. Open hands cannot hold on too tightly. Open hands are the shape of letting go. Breathe in and feel your chest rise. And breathe out and feel it fall. Let your chest soften now, the front of your chest, the back of it. Let the muscles between your ribs release. Let there be more space in there, more room to breathe, more room to be easy. Sometimes we hold things in our chest, a tightness that does not quite go away, something compressed and close to the heart. If you feel any of that now, you do not need to examine it. Just breathe into it softly. And as you breathe out, let it be just a little smaller. And your belly. Let your belly be completely soft. We hold so much tension in our bellies, the flutter of anxiety, the clench of unfinished things. Let it all go now. Let your belly rise and fall with your breath, freely, easily, like the belly of a sleeping child. Your lower back, let it sink. Let it release the curve it has been holding all day. Let the muscles there unknot, one by one, slowly and completely. Your hips, your pelvis, all the weight of you resting now fully on the surface beneath you. You are not holding yourself up. You are being held. Let yourself be held. Your upper legs now, your thighs, heavy and warm, the large muscles there releasing, softening, letting go of any last readiness to move, to react, to go anywhere. There is nowhere to go. You are already here, and here is safe. Your knees, your lower legs, the muscles of your calves growing soft and loose, let them go. Your ankles, your feet, your heels pressing gently into the bed, your toes uncurled, resting easy, all the way to the very tips of your toes, let go. Your whole body now, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, is soft and heavy and still. You are sinking gently into the surface beneath you, and the surface beneath you is holding you completely. You are safe here. You are warm here. You are allowed to rest here. Now let your breath continue its slow, easy rhythm, and as it does, let your mind begin to soften too. Thoughts may still be moving through. That is all right. You do not need to stop them. Just let them move through without following them. Like clouds moving across a very still sky, they pass through. The sky stays still. And gently now, very gently, I want to invite you somewhere safe and quiet and soft. Your mind can rest there. Your heart can rest there. You do not have to do anything once you arrive. You only have to let yourself be there. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of a forest. It is evening. Not quite dark, but the light is low and golden and gentle. The kind of light that makes everything look like it has been forgiven. The kind of light that softens edges. The air is warm, exactly the right temperature. Not too cool, not too warm. Just the kind of warmth that settles into your skin and says, you are welcome here. You can hear the forest breathing, the soft rustle of leaves high above you, moved by a breeze so gentle it is almost not a breeze at all. The occasional distant sound of birds settling into their evening places, small, peaceful sounds that make the quiet feel even quieter. There is a path in front of you, wide and soft. The ground is covered in something like moss, springy and yielding beneath your feet. And as you take one step forward and then another, you feel how easy it is to walk here, how light your body feels. How much has already been left behind at the edge of the forest where you were standing before. You do not need to carry anything here. Whatever you were holding, whatever old weight around forgiveness, around being hurt, around hurting someone, around yourself, you can leave it at the edge of the trees. It will not follow you in unless you invite it, and tonight you are not inviting it. Tonight you are just walking softly through this gentle place. The trees around you are tall and quiet. Their trunks are wide and steady. They have been standing here for a very long time, through all kinds of weather, through storms and long winters, through everything. And here they are, still standing, still soft with new leaves, still offering shade and shelter and the deep, steady peace of something that has learned to simply be. You are learning that too, not all at once, just slowly, over time. Just one breath at a time, one quiet evening at a time. You are learning that you too can simply be, that you do not always have to carry, that you do not always have to resolve, that sometimes the most profound thing you can do is rest. The path opens up ahead of you into a small clearing, and in the middle of the clearing there is a place that seems made for you, a soft place. Perhaps it is a bed of deep moss, or a low hammock strung between two trees, or simply a blanket laid out on the warm ground. Whatever it looks like to you, it is yours. It is perfectly shaped for you, and you can feel, even from here, how soft it will be. Walk toward it now. Feel the moss beneath your feet, springy and forgiving. Feel the last golden light of the evening falling across your face and your hands. Feel the warmth of it, the kindness of it. And now, lower yourself into that soft place. Let your body sink into it. Let it hold you completely, the way this bed is holding you right now. There is no difference between here and there. You are held. You are warm. You are safe. Look up, if you like, through the canopy of leaves above you. You can see the sky deepening from gold to a soft, deep blue. The first stars appearing, very faint. The kind of sky that makes you feel small in the most peaceful way. Small and held and part of something vast and quiet and unhurried. And as you rest here, something begins to happen, very gently. You begin to feel lighter. Not all at once, just gradually, like a slow tide going out, like something very heavy being lifted, not by effort, but simply by the quiet and the dark and the soft weight of rest. Whatever you have been holding around, forgiveness, and it is different for everyone, and it is different even for you from one day to the next. You can feel it beginning to ease, not because it is solved, not because everything is simple now, but because your body is resting, and when the body rests, the heart begins to rest too. You do not have to forgive perfectly tonight. You do not have to forgive completely. Forgiveness is not a single moment. It is more like this, more like a slow softening, more like a gradual releasing of a grip that has been tight for so long you forgot it was tight. And maybe tonight, just tonight, you can release it a little, just enough to sleep. Think if it arises naturally of something or someone you have been carrying. You do not need to think hard. Just let whatever is there be there, gently at the edges of your awareness. And then imagine, just as an image, just as something soft and symbolic, that you are holding that weight in your open hands. And you are looking at it, not with anger, not with grief, just with a quiet, tired kind of recognition. Yes, this has been heavy. Yes, I have been carrying this. And now, very slowly, you turn your hands over, and whatever was there, you let it fall into the soft ground of this forest, into the earth. The earth can hold it. The earth has held far heavier things than this, for far longer than you have been alive, and it has never once complained. Let it go into the ground. Your hands are open now, empty, and empty hands are not sad hands. Empty hands are free hands. Hands that can receive something new, hands that can rest. And perhaps, too, there is something you are carrying about yourself, something you have not quite forgiven yourself for, an old mistake, a moment of unkindness, a choice you wish you had made differently. It does not need to be named, just let it be there faintly at the edge. And know this, quietly, the way you know things in the dark just before sleep. You were doing the best you could with what you had at the time. That is true of almost every hard thing any of us has ever done. We were doing the best we could with what we had, with what we knew, with what we were carrying ourselves. And the person you are now, lying here, breathing slowly, reaching for rest, this person is kinder. This person has learned something. This person is trying, and trying is enough. Trying tonight is more than enough. Let yourself receive that, if only a little. Let some small part of you hear it. You are trying. You are here. You are resting. And that is good. The forest is very quiet now. The stars are brighter. The leaves above you barely move. The warmth of the ground, the warmth of the soft place that holds you, is spreading through your body like something slow and golden, like honey moving through warm water, like the last light of a long day, finally going down. Your body is heavy and soft. Your breath is slow. Your thoughts are moving further and further away. If thoughts arise, let them be like those leaves above you, moving but distant, not yours to follow, just part of the night passing through. You are still. The thoughts are moving. You do not have to move with them. There is nothing to figure out tonight. There is nothing to finish. There is nothing to decide. There is only this soft dark, this quiet forest, this gentle, unhurried breath. You are sinking deeper now, deeper into the soft place that holds you, deeper into the quiet. The ground beneath you is warm and steady. The sky above you is wide and dark and full of stars that have been shining for longer than anyone can imagine, quietly, without asking anything in return. Let your breath slow even more now. Let it find its own depth, long and easy, in through the nose, soft and cool, out through the mouth, or through the nose, warm and slow. Each breath a small release, each breath a little more rest. The edges of your thoughts are growing soft. The edges of everything are growing soft. The line between being awake and being asleep is becoming very thin, very gentle. You are moving toward it easily, the way water moves downhill. Naturally, without effort. There is nothing to hold on to now. You do not need to hold on to anything. The weight you have been carrying is lighter now. It may not be gone. It may still be there somewhere, but tonight it is lighter. Tonight there is a little more space around it. Tonight you have given yourself the gift of rest, and rest is its own kind of healing. Rest is its own kind of grace. Sleep is coming for you now, gently, like a tide coming in, like the night deepening, like the body finally, gratefully letting go. You are warm. You are held. You are safe. Let your body grow heavier now. Let the last traces of tension dissolve. Your face soft, your jaw loose, your shoulders sinking, your hands open. The forest breathes around you, slow and steady, the trees standing watch, the stars keeping their quiet vigil, the earth holding everything. You are part of all of this. You belong here. You are allowed to rest here. Let your mind go quiet now. Let the thoughts slow. Let the images fade. There is just breath now. Current is warmth. Just the soft dark. You are almost there. Right at the edge of sleep. Let yourself go. The snowy, his zicklies from the other time. Still. He held. Saying gently. Let go. Rest now.